Hello everyone and welcome to my very first filming tutorial in Planet Coaster. Yeah, before we go into, you have already seen some nice cinematics. Hopefully you found them kind of nice at the beginning of this video, and this is basically what we will do in this video. So the new studio update came out just yesterday, and I just wanted to do that for such a long time, and lucky enough I waited, or I did wait until this very time to make one of the tutorials, because there is a lot of new stuff in this which helps to make those gorgeous looking ones. So we start in this park with the simple huntsman version of it. But before we go into, I want to make a big shout out to the bros, Mike and John, who have a bro basic about filming. I would highly suggest to watch this. I'm not gonna cover those techniques in this video because they are old. They are still very, very good. Don't get me wrong, they are brilliant. You can still use those techniques, but I want to focus on two newer techniques which are possible since we've had some new updates and some new rides which we can use them, and I need to pause now to show you actually what I've done here. But if you want to see some tutorials on how to film in Planet Coaster properly, to get some nice views, to get some depth of field and stuff, make sure to watch this. Obviously it's down below in the description. You can just click the link and enjoy the video, and it is always, if you're not into filming, watch it anyway, because those two guys are just fun to listen to. Anyways, let's go into what I've done. So the cinematics you have seen at the beginning are from this main street. I have chosen to use a old park file of Camel Kingdom, as you can see, just because of the frame rate. And I used the Huntsman, which is a ride which came with the Spooky update or Spooky DLC last year. And this is a kind of motion simulator ride which is moving around its own axis, and you can also tilt it towards the front or to the back. And you can use this one to create such a nice looking kind of point of view move alongside the little main street. I'm just gonna quickly speed up the game, and you can see what's happening. So the little ride goes now through the main street, and you can see how the car is behaving. It is moving kind of a little bit like a camera dolly, and this is exactly what we want to create. I'm gonna quickly do it now to show it. I prepared this already because basically we could already use this. As you can see, bam, there we go. Because that has been in Planet Coaster already before. And later on in this video we're gonna do the same stuff with the new robotic arm, which is even better, but I'm gonna talk about that in a second. First of all, let's now watch what we created. So important is that you go into the middle seat, which is the seat number 2, and then you move in the camera until this very bottom part is moved away. Then you hit play, and now what this creates, as you can see, make sure also to move the track below ground level so that you can't see anything of the track, and now you can see the movement, and now it is happening. The ride is, and this is very cool, you know what you can't do with your mouse or the control is to make a constant nice looking movement of the camera, but you can do. It's now simply a little bit weird just to show you a little bit what is possible with it. So it's not the best of cinematics available, but I will edit them a little bit so that looks a little bit nice. But as you can see now, it is fairly easy. Oh, it is even too fast because I hit the speed up option in this game. I don't even know why, but anyways, now you see the real speed, and it is way better already. And it's a gentle movement. You can see we are even following the staff member here, and we are rotating around him. Okay, this is a perfect example now what you can use with it. You see we have a nice little panning shot around somebody. Now we are panning around the main street, and the car is behaving like a camera dolly. Basically this is all you want to do with this little thing, and you can make the rotation of the track and of the train, and there you go, you have a perfect little camera dolly. Obviously you can change this to whatever direction you want. So if we go into this ride and we go in and choose the track over here, and we say okay, let's change the car pitch angle, that it is not looking upwards but straight, and we also can roll the car a tiny little bit to the left so that we have a nice look kind of into the main street, a little bit tilt, and then we also have to make this car a tiny little bit more to the right hand side. There we go. Stop test, start test. Now let's get into the seat. as I said, move on. Let's speed up the whole thing a little bit. Again. There we go. And now what's happening, you see we are slightly tilted to the right hand side, moving into the main street, and you create another nice looking panning shot, what you can use in your cinematics if you want to. It's very nice because it is in the speed of the guest. You can even go into the settings of the ride if you want so, and decrease the speed. I set it now to 7 kph, but you can also go to 5 kph obviously, but you cannot go all the way up to 24 kph. As you can see, it's way quicker then. It's simply depending on what you guys want to create with the ride. So it is fairly easy, as you can see. You can just use the ride, build it through whatever you want to, make sure to sink it down below into the ground, and then just create whatever you want. You can turn it into any direction. You can, you know, create different things. And now there is one issue with it. This is just good for ground level shots. So if you want to make a fly through at kind of POV, at kind of ground level shot, eye level, so to say, of the guests, this is perfect, right? What we can't do with it is more like this, what I'm now doing with my camera, like actually fly through in a little higher position, right? So that you actually have, like, if you would be going through like a drone. I can make this with my camera, but I would never ever get it so nice and tidy as it is with the ride, which actually follows a certain track. So therefore we are switching the park for a second, and then I'll be back with a different thing to show you. So here we are in a different park. Most of you will know this park. This is my little London park, and I already want to excuse for the flame rate. I want to excuse for the flame rate, but also for the frame rate, since this is already a heavy packed park. But I wanted to use this park for a good reason, and you will see this later on. We are gonna create a nice fly through through this little area, which is actually very nice and with a lot of cinematic aspects to it. And therefore we're gonna use the new ride, which is in a different tab. There we go. And this is the robotic arm, which has been introduced with the new update, with the new DLC, I should say. Where exactly is it, by the way? There we go. Oh, this is looking weird. Anyways, it's the motion robotic arm. And if we grab this thing now, as I said, make sure to put the thing down at a position where it doesn't really bother you. So for my special case in here, I would actually put this inside or even behind those buildings, because then you wouldn't see them, right? You wouldn't see it from any position, so this is kind of nice. So you're gonna start simply with the track. Then what we want to do next is to make sure that this thing is actually below ground level, and we have to see how much we can go. Okay, 5 degrees is actually not too much what we can go up and down, so we have to see if we can. Okay, see, we even have to place this one a little bit further back. And I didn't prepare this for a good reason, because I haven't had too much experience with this little thingy. And I wanted to show it to you in kind of in live, so that you guys know how to play with this thing actually, because the Huntsman is a little bit easier than this one. So if we are moving this now down, I think this is where we can go now. Let's go into this and now bring it to 0 degrees. There we go. The cool thing is with Planet Coaster that we do have the limitless building through scenery now with some of the later updates. I don't know which it was exactly. But now we can build the track first of all, right? So we want to go simply through the entrance, and then we want to use that bridge over here. Bridge is maybe not the best idea, but we will kind of do it, I guess. I think it is covered enough so that we can use the bridge. So we are just making the basic track. Just make sure where you want the whole thing to go, and if you want bigger track pieces, just use bigger track pieces. You also don't need to care too much if you're going through scenery or whatsoever. Just make sure that the track is always hidden. So that's the most important thing. The track has to be hidden all the time, because otherwise in your cinematics that would look a little bit ugly. So try to go, yeah, as tidy as possible and as close as necessary. So that's basically all you need to consider. So I guess this should be it already. I mean, we don't need to make anything too crazy right now. I just want to show it to you guys, and that should be fine. So now the basic track has been done, but now there is not too much happening. So we just choose a track, and I have no clue at the moment how the whole damn thing behaves. So what I always do is I choose the first piece and I try a little bit around. So obviously this pitch is pretty much easy to understand because you can see the little icon moves exactly the way you want it to move. We would make this a little bit bigger so you can see this all at the same time. So now the rotation of the car is a little bit tricky. As far as I know, the positive one is always right and the negative one is always turning to the left. Not too sure. The spin is also something I am not quite sure about what this is. So you now have to be a little bit, yeah, I would say creative. Now let's move both to 90 degrees, and then we also want to see how this all behaves. So we have the control seat, we have the seat spin, and we have the car rotation, and we have the arm pitch. So there are 4 different settings. Let's put all to, okay, we can't even put this on 90 degrees, so let's keep that on 4, I guess. Should be fine. Okay, now let's hit play and start the test to see simply what the thing does, just for us as a hint. So now, let's see. Okay, it does go. It is now completely to the back side, and it's completely rotated 90 degrees to the left, right? So I guess this one is basically then how this exactly looks. So if we go straight again, that should be straight. If we hit pause, it will crash. Yeah, obviously. Now let's do it again. As I said, it is a little bit tricky. Okay, so we are rotating backwards. See, now this is very good to know because now we do know that actually this one over here controls kind of the left turn. So if we go back to 90 degree minus, it should be turning to the right if I'm not wrong. So now it turned left, and now if I'm not completely wrong, it should turn straight. Yes, there we go. So this is good to know because if we want to go to the right hand side, which we will need later on, we have to go to I was at minus 90, so I have to go to minus 180. So that should be this one. Oh, I believe it doesn't really matter, but it does matter because you have to know which kind of direction you go in. But anyways, so now let's try this again. So the whole thing does move completely to the right. Okay, see, so that you have to just note down those values. I don't know, but just keep in mind these values so that you know later on what you want to do. You can make this with trial and error, but at the beginning I like to have kind of an idea first of all what you want to do with it. So then the next thing we want to check is what's happening with those pitchy things. I don't actually know what the pitch is about, so let's slow this whole thing down and pause it. I guess it's this one. So if we go at minus 90, it should be completely straight. Like this arm should be completely straight. I guess, at least. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. The arm is completely straight. I mean, this is a little bit confusing, to be honest, because the seat kind of keeps the same. I guess if we would deselect this one, the seat would move with it, I believe. Let's see if that's happening. Now, the seat should move with it. No, it doesn't. Okay, I have no clue why then, to be honest. I mean, if I would make, like, oops. Actually, this one, let's see what's happening now. That they are looking more down, I don't know. Yeah, they're looking more down. But I guess you already get the idea. So, now we do know about the controls of this thing, right? Now we can create something more creative. This thing now, however it behaves, it doesn't matter. Let's reset it to 0. I always like to have a piece in the middle which equals everything again. And then we are going into the park, right? So we are flying into the park, and what we want to have is we want to have, first of all, kind of a complete panoramic move around. So what we do to create this one is we want to make sure that from this piece to this piece we have the complete turnaround. So we are starting with this one, and we keep the pitch normal, we keep the rotation normal, but the car rotation, as we said, is at plus 90 degrees is to the left hand side. So completely, no, sorry, it is 0 basically. But we don't want to have that's completely 0 because that would be like looking completely like this. So we have to go a little bit into the minus degrees, or is it the plus? I already forgot. It was the minus, I'm quite sure. So we go into 45 minus, I guess. So they will look kind of somewhat like this, right? So we will look like this. And this is fine. We don't need anything more, but we want to bring that whole thing a tiny little bit forward. So what we want to do is we control the pitch tiny bit, like 28 degrees forward, so that the arm is going out a little bit. What we do now is we have selected this piece, we go one further, and this is the next piece, right? And we say, yeah, please control again all the settings. We want to keep at 28 degrees, and we want to have the rotation from minus 45, what we had lately, to minus 180 degrees. So that's basically looking then completely straight to the right hand side. If all goes well, we are going then in here, and to control the next part of the ride, we want to stay into the 180, oops, that's the wrong piece. We want to stay in 180 degrees, and we want to go even closer to the whole scene. So if everything goes correctly now, the arm comes in, it rotates one time completely to this side, and then we move straight over the bridge and we go closer to the little lake, right? And if we then move to the next piece, what we want to do then is we want to pitch the arm back a little bit so that we go back and higher actually in our position. And once we go then into this position, I want to get the whole car back into a normal position. So that means we want to go, yeah, kind of back, and also we want to bring this rotation to minus 90 degree so that it is looking forward. I have no clue if everything has worked now, but we will see. So now let's go into the ride itself, and now this is what's gonna happen. We take the seat position as we have already. We don't need to do anything else, because the cool thing about this ride is that you actually don't have any HUD in the way. I mean, we are testing at the moment, so it is a little bit different though. But now as we move to the left hand side, now magic should be happening. So now, as you can see, we are coming into this little area over here. We are a little bit higher, and now the rotation pan starts to move, and it did work actually. We should have to position this a little bit different, and it was maybe a little bit too quick, so we would have to choose a longer piece then. But as you can see now, the arm is going force. We are zooming a tiny little bit in and moving just down below the river, as I said. Now the arm is going up again. See, we are just moving and putting the thing into the position that it goes forward. Perfect. So it worked out kind of nicely though. We have the little ride itself sticking out a tiny little bit over here. I don't know why, but we can do it like this. And yeah, what I said is just that the overall pan was way too quick. So as you can see, we already hit the position that we look to the right hand side over here. I actually don't want this. So what I do now is I bring this back to like not even 90 degree, I guess. Yeah, let's put it on 90 degree over here, and then we come to 180 degree over here. So the whole thing is a little bit more slower, I guess. That's the word I was looking for. And also what I didn't like is that the arm was too high for my taste, too low for my taste. So I bring this whole thing back to 4, I guess is the better position. Okay, we haven't set anything in here. We will bring this in also to -4 or 4. What did we have there? Is it -4 or is it 4? No, it's 4. Fine. So, and then we have a quick turn closer to 90 over here. That's fine. That's totally fine. So now we can start the test again, go into camera position and see if the changes worked out. So now I just made this whole thing quicker. No, I didn't, but now I did. The movement is fine. We are looking to the left hand side. Now let's make it slower. And now let's see if the panning is a little bit slower than it was before, because normally it should now use more track pieces actually to fulfill the whole rotation. And there we go, it is slower. And it does actually take a little bit more of time, so we have a nice look into the park. And now see the whole rotation goes on for now. And we are looking to the right hand side, seeing the beauty of the other side of the lake. And now the whole thing moves down a little bit because the arm is going to the front and it's moving back again, so we had a tiny little bit of a movement in there. So actually you have seen that this all works very nice together. So you can now, as you can see, the crane is going to move on and you can control the pitch and whatever you want in all the different directions. So I think it's a beautiful way to create a fly-through through your areas. The only issue though is that if you would make the track higher, which is suitable for some cases, you can't make full rotations because then you would see the track. What you can do actually is, if you want to, I mean, you can go in, build the track, film it, and delete the rest of the track. So let me show you. This is a little bit tricky, to be honest, because then you have to cut it later on. But if you want to cut it, that's fine. I mean, it does work. So we are now here with the test, right? What you can do now is you can simply go to this piece, delete this piece, and go on with the test. See, the test does go on. You could go into the camera right now. You would just have to make the test ratings disappear, and basically that's how it is. It would actually work. And the track disappears. I mean, that was a bad example because it's hidden in anyways, but you could go and make the whole thing higher, right? Like bring it up like this and make a big bump and make the whole thing from a higher position and then just delete the rest. It does work though. It doesn't really matter if you need it or not, but yeah, this is actually what I wanted to show you with this little ride. So it is the perfect way to film. But now there is one last thing I wanted to show you because this is just incredible. Let's now see. We have 12 p.m. at the moment, right? And what if we... Wait, where's our ride, by the way? Did I delete the whole ride? No, I didn't. The question is, what if we want to have now a nice little day and night cycle? So now I'm going to show you something very special. I was waiting for it like for ages because this is... Yeah, I just have no words. We have this new piece, which is... Wait, where is the... Why is it not here? There we go. It is the right time machine. And we can place this thing wherever we want. Let's put this now down here. We don't need to focus too much on it. And we say the time we want to go to is, let's say 7:30 p.m. And the fade time is, let's say 8 seconds. 8 seconds seems to be a good value for me. Now, what we want to do is we want to go into our little ride. And where's the ride? There we go. Come on. Can I select the ride? There we go. And what we need is we need a trigger. Now, actually, we do put a trigger on the ride now. Add a trigger. Bring this trigger to the point where we want to start the fade. And since we went into the park over here, I want to start it right over here. We connect now this little piece in here and say confirm. Now what we have to do, we have to duplicate it again because otherwise it will make the transition back immediately. We need to have 2 now, and then it starts obviously as at 0 seconds, so 8 seconds later. And first of all we have to pay attention on activate on trigger. There we go, and we need to make this one at deactivate on trigger. And then we need this right camera to, you know, first of all, keep in mind that we have 8 seconds until the time has changed. So you want to add, for example, a few more seconds, like 5, for example, until you want to fade back. So at the moment, we are at 8 plus 5, 13 seconds. So after 13 seconds, I want to start again the fade back. So done. Now let's test what's happening. This is all you need to do. Now let's go into the right cam. And we're gonna speed the whole process up a little bit. And there we go. Now we are gonna start. And now let's make the whole thing slower. Because now we are going through the house. Actually, you would start to film now, right? We are hitting the trigger at this very moment, I guess. It should be somewhere around this. And now you see the magic happen. There we go. Look, it's getting dark, and there we go. It's entirely dark. Bam. 7:30 in the evening. We have 5 seconds of darkness. And now as we come across the river, the time is fading back. Bam, there we go. It's bright again. How cool is this? I mean, how cool is this, right? This is just so incredible, right? You can make so nice fades and stuff. You could actually put also right up here and make like this ride very slow and just make a whole fade over the entire day, and then just film it with a very slow panning through the little area. I mean, that would look so gorgeous. So you can actually use the time machine as a filming technique, and you don't need to do anything in After Effects or whatsoever. You don't need to film it twice in daytime and nighttime and make them fade. You don't need to do this any longer. You just can use it as a little filming tool in the game. I mean, this is very cool. But anyways, that's about it with the little tutorial. I hope it helped you. If not, or if you have any questions left, put it down below in the comments and let me know what you think of this little technique. I do apologize for the frame rate because I totally forgot to lock the guest size in this park, and I was wondering why the performance is going down all the time. We have now about 4,500 people in this park. Holy. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, as always, and then I only want to say bye-bye. See you next time.